Hello lovely people, welcome back to the box. If you didn't see my last video, I'm currently in London seeing shows. I've gone down for a weekend. This is the actual only set of 2 videos we're doing for shows, because one I've already seen and it's shortly soon to close, and the one I'm seeing today is a concert which is on for 1 day. No point. If you're thinking, what's she talking about? Why 2 videos? We'll get into it in a second, but today we're here to talk all things the producers, currently at the Garrick Theatre in London. So if you want to know my thoughts and feelings on this show, stick around. I'm getting to it in 2 whole minutes. Welcome back to the box. This is fully boxy, not like August's trip where it was like semi-boxy, but it felt like an actual room. This is a box. Like, they call it a cocoon, it is a box. Anyway, as I said, I'm doing the second of my 2 videos on this show. If you don't know, for every show that I see, I like to do 2 separate videos. Time and willing permitted. The first of the videos is the last video on this channel, the Nervous Guide. The Nervous Guide is everything you need to know before you go into the show, hopefully making your trip to see a theatre show a little bit easier. So that could be view from my seat, content warnings, sensory warnings, talk about the merch, anything like that. Anything you need to know before you go in. This second video is this is the review. Review is always put in inverted commas because at the end of the day I am in no way professional. I just like to go and see theatre shows and spend all my money on those, and 9 times out of 10 I will go solo. When you go solo, you don't get the chance afterwards to go and like splurt all your thoughts and feelings on something and talk about who you enjoyed, who you didn't enjoy, what you enjoyed creatively about it, etc. So I put it in these videos, and that is pretty much that. I don't know why I'm doing so many Evita hands today. Don't cry for me. Moving on. Let's talk about the show in question, which is the producers at the Garrick Theatre in London. This trip to this show has been a long time coming. I first got very excited about this show when it was at the Menier Chocolate Factory, which was last year according to the programme, and I just couldn't get timings right. I missed out on that production, and then they announced they were going into the Garrick, and I got a little bit excited because it's a lot more accessible for me, because I, 1, know where it is, and 2, it is in central London, and so I was like, yeah, finally. They opened at the Garrick at the end of August, and yeah, I think they've just been having an excellent time so far, if what was watched by me was to be the case. This show, the producers, is a Mel Brooks musical. It's the second Mel Brooks musical, in fact, to be in the Garrick. The Garrick also had Young Frankenstein, a show I also saw and enjoyed. Mel Brooks has a very specific type of comedy. It's not offensive, but it is slightly dark, but not like dark. I mean, this show does have mention of Hitler and the Nazis, so it's kind of dark in that respect, but at the same time, I don't know how to explain it, but it's a definitive type of comedy that isn't in a Mel Brooks show. Speaking of Mel Brooks, this show has music and lyrics by Mel Brooks, and the book for this show is also by Mel Brooks alongside Thomas Meehan. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that surname correctly. I might not be. Unlike other shows I've seen previously, including Young Frankenstein, I kind of knew what was going to happen in this show, as I have seen the film version that they put out a few years ago with Nathan Lane and Matthew Broderick. It's either Matthew or Marcus, and I didn't write it in my notes, but that film, so I knew what I was getting into. I knew what was going to happen in Act 2 in regards to things like Springtime for Hitler. I was ready, kind of, but at the same time, a few times throughout the show I was like, this is insane. It's in all-encompassment a lot. Let's be honest. But saying that, I did laugh, I had a great time. The songs are really decently put together. Like I said, there is Springtime for Hitler, there is also things like Your Face, beautiful. Guten Tag Hot Club, excellent. I did want to kind of join in. I did see prior to this show opening in the Garrick, they introduced or invited down some influencers and theatre creators to do some dancing, and they learned the Guten Tag Hot Club. So if anyone wants to teach me, I know it's a lot of slapping and thigh slapping, it would look fun. Anyway, moving on. Creatively, this was a fun show. Dare I say, a little bit camp, just a little bit. There's a lot of glitter, there's a lot of sequins. I feel like having a show with a song called Keep It Gay kind of highlights the campness of it. But also in that song it's kind of very much like a show is better when it is a little bit that way. Speaking of the sparkles, the costumes in the show have been made by Paul Farnsworth and I really enjoyed them. I'm a massive fan of everything that Ula wore, especially opening Act 2 dress. Stunning. I mean, I wouldn't personally wear the costume that she wore during Springtime for Hitler holding a massive sausage, but it's not like everyday wear. The Your Face dress, which is like white and then flowy, beautiful, stunning, would wear. Also want to mention this set, which has been done by Scott Pask. The set for the most part is relatively stable. There is a few times when it changes, like for example when they go and meet Roger Debris, there's a curtain that comes down over the rest of the set, which has pretty much been there the whole time. And things got brought onto the stage and then they get taken off at the end of this section with Roger. But I did still really enjoy it, especially again, something I want to try, climbing up the back of the set. It looked fun. I don't know how high I'd get up there, but I'd have a go. The direction of the show has been done by Patrick Marber and the choreography of the show has been done by Lauren Lataro. I really enjoyed the athleticism and the tap and everything. The choreography in this show has a little bit of everything. It's got a little bit of tap, but it's also got so many different other genres and I really enjoyed it. Moving on to the cast. The cast are spearheaded in this show by two characters, two leads if you will, which are Bialystok and Bloom. They are played respectively by Andy Nyman and Mark Antolin. I have seen both of those separately in other projects. I saw Andy last year. Is it last year? I think so. In Hello Dolly, where I didn't know anything about Andy prior and kind of fell in love with him a little bit. Still the case here. What are you gonna do? And Mark, I haven't seen perform live for a while. In fact, I was looking through the programme and it talked about Mark when he was in Little Shop at the Regent's Park Open Air Theatre, and I believe it said it was 2019, and I was like, surely not, because I can remember that production like it was yesterday. It was a phenomenal production of that show, and at some point I do hope that it comes back in some shape or form, although I don't feel like it can be topped, because that was just an elite production of that show. Moving off a little shot though, Mark was a joy to watch again. I don't think I realised how beautiful a dancer he was, and I feel like I should have known this, but there are times I'm just like, oh, your lines, I think that's what they're called, but they're stunning. Really enjoyed both of them together. They bounced off each other brilliantly, and yeah, I just really enjoyed their two performances individually and together. Moving on to a few other characters I enjoyed. A lot of the characters, like the named people, are big characters, but it's not like they overpower each other. They just meld together to make an excellent cast. So we had Roger Debris, who was played by Trevor Ashley. That character was larger than life, and very funny to watch. Trevor did a brilliant job. I feel sorry though for the person in the front row who literally got shouted in the face by Trevor as Roger. I don't know if they were warned prior, because I was towards the back of the stalls, but it was a lot, I would assume. There is also Carmen Gia, who is played by Raj Ghatak, who is kind of the right-hand man, if you will, to Roger. What do they call it, like common law assistant, I think is how it's put in the show. I again really enjoyed Raj's performance. Watching the slight jealousy at times on Raj's face was just really funny to watch. It's just, he played that role really well, and yeah, excellent. Then the last of the big hitters and the named characters, we have got playing the role of Franz Liebekind, the one, the only Harry Morrison. I have been a fan of Harry's work since the good old days of Half Sixpence, which I don't want to know when that was on, because it would make me sad to know how long ago we had a production of that show. But yes, Harry was amazing in this role. So funny, a little bit frightening at times, especially when he walks on with a gun. We all know, if we've ever watched the Nervous Guide videos, how I feel about guns on stage. But yeah, he was absolutely hilarious. Every time he was on that stage, I was like, right, I'm gonna laugh for the next like 5 minutes. It was a larger than life performance, and it was just absolutely excellent, and yeah, brilliant. And then the final of the named cast, if you will, we have playing Ula. I'm not going to do the full name because I don't actually know what it is. It was long. Is Joanna Woodward, who I last saw in Time Traveller's Wife. This is a little bit different to that show. But I did enjoy the chance to hear Joanna belt once again. I really enjoyed her performance as Ula, and yeah, I loved it. Loved those characters. The ensemble are brilliant, excellent, top-notch grannies is what I wrote in my book, because there is a moment in the show which I believe was called Along Came the Alley, which ends Act 1, in which the entirety of the ensemble are all grannies and even do some choreo using their walkers. Just, it was a brilliant way of ending Act 1. It just was excellent. This show was right, it was just what I needed, especially as in the evening I went to go and see the Curious Case of Benjamin Button one last time before it closes, because it's closing on the 11th. So I knew that I was going to get upset and teary in the evening, and this was like the perfect little antidote to like get me ready for that in the evening. It was really fun to watch. I feel like there were people of all ages in the audience and everyone was laughing together. This show currently has an end date of the 21st of February 2026, which sounds far away, but when you consider that we are in the midst of September right now, it'll come before we know it. I might try and get back to the show before it does close. There is a lot of theatre I need to catch before the end of the year, going into the start of next year. But I would recommend this show. I really enjoyed it. I knew I probably would because I enjoyed the film, but seeing it in the flesh is always so much more fun. You just get to enjoy it with an audience. Yeah, you can't beat it. You can't beat the sound of the audience before the show starts and then everyone quiets down and the lights go. It's just beautiful, just beautiful. But that's enough of me talking about how great theatre is. I'm going to finish the video and say thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you come back for more theatre-based content soon. Don't know if I have anything booked in for a while. We shall see. But I'm going to leave this video here because I need to put that pen down and say thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you come back next time. And the final thing I always need to say is this: so long, farewell, auf Wiedersehen, and goodbye. That kind of works in this. Bye.